Cheers, everybody. Oh yeah, let's do this. Alright guys, so today is the day we're gonna start making a coffee racer seat for my coffee racer. Welcome back, see what happens. For this we will need one seat pan, which I prepared earlier, as you remember. We're gonna need some foam as well. And glue. The reason I said we're gonna start on a coffee racer seat and not complete finish, because I want to do myself the shape of the foam, because I know how the lines are in comparison to the petrol tank, and this little contraption I made over here for the pan to cover over the petrol tank, and how I want it to flow. I got it in my head, and then I'm gonna give the complete piece to somebody professional who knows how to do the upholstery the proper way, the professional way, because I don't own the sewing machine, nor I know how to sew, how to work with leather. That's probably beyond my skills. Yes, you can probably do it yourself, but how good the effort is going to be, you know. So I'm going to pay some money for a professional to do it for me. You're probably gonna wonder what kind of foam I'm using. Well, it's just a regular kind of packaging foam, but it's a high density memory foam kind of structure to it. As you can see, it doesn't compress that much, and kind of I got a couple of these pieces. I use this for when I'm pinstriping, to go underneath my knees, or sometimes I sit on it, and it's really comfortable. You can sit on it or kneel on it for hours, and it doesn't get, you know, it doesn't get damaged, it doesn't get worn. So I figure out this is gonna be a perfect donut for my ass, so I can ride this bad boy hopefully in a little bit more comfort rather than bare steel. Yeah, that sounds nice. And glue wise, I'm gonna use Impact multi-purpose impact glue. I bought it, there's not a commercial, but I've tested this thing and it's fucking brutal. You can glue pieces to foam, foam to metal. I had the test panels done before, and the only way to separate it, you need to rip the foam apart, and the foam still stays stuck to metal. So this bad boy, it's definitely man enough for the job. Right, so the first thing I need to do, I need to cut the shape roughly, very roughly, so that square piece of foam, it's more or less resembling my actual coffee racer kind of base. So I need to draw underneath and cut the template with a knife. Right, so now I've got a very rough cutout of it. All I need to do is apply glue onto the least porous surface, which in my case is metal, and firmly press and secure the foam for ideally overnight curing. But in this weather it should take about 12 hours, maybe even less than that. Let's do it. Right, so just like this, we've got not the best thing looking in the world, but the tape is just there to hold pressure on that foam, especially on those tight corners where you need to grip to metal, glue to metal. Right, nothing left for me to do, just leave it alone for a few hours, and we're gonna come back to you as soon this thing is ready. Right guys, so we are now about 9 hours later, and I'm pretty sure the glue set on this, and it's well, pretty solid. Let's have a look, shall we? Here we are guys, the pieces, well, 2 pieces become 1 pretty much because of that glue. If you look on the side, try to separate it. Actually the foam separates before the glue, which is always a good thing. You don't want to pull it too much. Yeah, the foam separates from the glue, don't want to go too far. So that's good, that's solid. I can, you know, try to shake it off, it ain't gonna happen. What I need to do now, I want to shape it, cut the excess off, and then use some gentle sandpaper, maybe some mechanical stuff, you know, just to get the shape I want, you know, from it, so it kind of naturally follows the line I've got on the bike, on the seat hump, and the petrol tank kind of joins it up. So I'm going to put it back on the bike, draw a few lines, and shape it from there. There you go guys, that's probably the best angle for you. It's mounted on the seat right now. So what I want to do, what I'm aiming to do anyway, gently come off this side and gently keep a bit of, probably maybe 3/4 of that thickness over here. Keep that and then gently go up there, you know, so it kind of naturally follows that curvature over here. That's my plan anyway. Let me draw some lines and then I'll try to shape it the best I can. Right, so as I said, quite straightforward at the moment. Obviously I need to make sure the curvature as well goes this way, but at the moment what I need to do, kind of keep it as flat as possible over here, keep along these lines, and then bring it to the nice gentle finish on top, and obviously make sure it's symmetrical both ways. So I need to find out the best way to do it now. Let's have a look at my options. So the first thing I need to do is cut the excess off and just roughly shape it, and I found the best thing for this is your regular kitchen knife. Just don't tell your wife you took it, because she won't be happy. But it cuts through that thing really smooth and nicely. You can kind of shape it roughly, and then we can finesse this later. Let me do this now. Right, so I've done some tests on the offcut pattern I had over here, which is the same kind of foam, and the hand sandpaper. It kind of does the job, but it's flipping slow. It makes it really nice and smooth, but I'll be here till 2020 if I was doing it by hand. I was trying using a hacksaw blade or some knife, but never leaves it a perfect finish. So believe it or not, the best thing to do is angle grinder with, I got 80 grit over here, and that cuts nicely through it. Not too aggressive. It doesn't rip the foam in half, and it kind of leaves a nice smooth finish. You can kind of shape it the way you want, which is fantastic, just what I want. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to shape that foam over there I've got. Now we're nearly there. It's pretty much what I want it to be. It kind of goes, you can see if I hold it level, it goes slightly downhill, slightly, very so ever so gently down, and then this kind of flat surface raising up to match the hump, the coffee racer hump, and it's nicely symmetrical on each level. And now, right now, I can finesse it. All this, you can see there's tiny little imperfections. I can finesse it by hand with sandpaper. That shouldn't take too long because it's just minor things. The only thing, if I can give you any advice with the angle grinder, be very careful, because obviously that chews through it like it's nothing. Well, it is nothing for the angle grinder. So any tiny imperfection, or if you stop farming for a second, dig in ever so gently, it will create a little bump, a little, you know, you will eat too much material, too much of that foam, and you may end up ruining your job. So you have to start over. But luckily, you know, that looks semi-decent to me, so I'm gonna finesse it with a sandpaper now. Yeah, this is pretty much done. One more advice: if you're using sandpaper, don't go back and forth on foam, on any foam really. Depends what kind of foam that is, but there's a very good chance if you go back and forth, you may end up ripping the foam somewhere on the side, you know. Foam is rather fragile material. This can rip it if you go back and forth aggressively. It can create a tear or a hole, you know, and that will ruin your job. Yes, you can re-glue it, but it's kind of not the same. So gentle strokes, one way, one direction, moderate pressure, and you will see it's shaving off pieces of foam on the sandpaper, and I will leave you with a good enough result. I'm happy with that so far. There's one more, I think, important step to take before I give it to my upholstery guy. Now, before I give it to my upholstery guy, obviously I wanted to create this shape like this, because I could give him just a metal pan to ask him to create a seat for me, because that's what they do. But I wanted to make the shape exactly like I had in mind, so it matches the bike. But before I give it to him, I spotted something on I've got a Honda Rebel over there, which I'm doing some work for a friend of mine, and it's got a rip in the seat. It's a leather, or like folks leather seat, right? And it's got a small rip in it, and I spotted that inside, underneath, well, obviously there's foam, but on top of the foam is plastic cover. And it's so simple, because I had previous custom-made seats, and I've done similar things, or somebody done in your foam and just covered that with leather, but leather got stitching on it, and obviously through the stitching, if it rains, the water seeps through, and that's basically like a sponge. It's a foam, but it's a sponge in the end, and it soaks up water, and if you sit on it, the water just gets to your bum and all that stuff. Not a very good thing. And now obviously it tends to ride a bike in the rain as well. I mean, why not? It's not made of sugar, it's not gonna fucking melt. That's my philosophy anyway. Bikes are meant to be ridden, yeah? So I'm just thinking, why not cover that thing in a plastic bag? And I'm gonna use cling film. It may work, it may not. Worth a shot. Let's do this. There we go, guys. So to fully waterproof this, I got myself a piece of cling film that will cover this nicely. I can stretch it nicely over the entire seat area. I'm gonna run some glue just underneath the edges over there, so this can actually glue overnight. And I can, because it's cling film, you can stretch nicely. and attach to it, and hopefully I can give it then to my guy, and that should be kind of waterproof. Well, I hope so anyway. See what happens. Right guys, so this is the shape I'm going for, more or less. I will probably have the guy to add some kind of decorative stitching, you know, I don't even know how they call, but like ribbed kind of effect in the middle. So it's like a ripples or ribbed, whatever you call it, and maybe some stitching on the outside as well. I'm gonna design a pattern, you know, for him, and then just deliver a drawing on a piece of paper. I delivered this. I asked him to be very careful. It's a thick cling film, but it still can be kind of pierced to the finger, so I asked him to be careful around it. Once he put leather over it, you know, he will measure it up. The guy know what he's doing. I'm paying some money for it. I figure out why not leave it for the professional to do a really good job, because I will mess it up. I know he will. It will never look even half as decent as a professional would do it. But yeah, I'm happy with that shape. I know you probably say it's not enough support for my butt, but it doesn't matter. I think it will be more comfortable than riding bare metal. It's built not for comfort, it's not built for speed either. It's just built to look semi-good. Yeah, what do you think? I think it looks alright. There we go guys, one Coffee Racer seat base, seat base ready. I wait till tomorrow it settles, then I remove the excess of the cling film from underneath. I don't know, it may not work, it may completely be a failure, you know, waterproofing it this way, but I thought it's worth a shot. It took me 10 minutes to do, and cling film, everybody's got cling film at home, so I'll see what happens. It may be a good idea. Once it's protected with leather, it should be semi-waterproof. It may rip later on, but don't matter, does it? Right guys, I'll let it settle overnight. I'll remove the excess of that, and then I'm gonna deliver it to my guy, to my man who's gonna do magic on leather upholstery. I now know what color the bike is gonna be, what pattern is gonna be there. It's all in my head. 95% sure I know what it is, so I know I can match leather and stitching to what's gonna be on a bike. But that's a completely different story. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sure I did. Have a bit, rock hard, and I'll see you very soon. Oh yeah.